Are we? Cool, okay. Well, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Drams from Afar, the social exchange. I hope everyone's keeping well. If you're in South Australia, it is a disgusting day. It's pouring with rain and it's 5:30 and pitch black. So, yeah, it seems like winter's really here. But that's quite nice, you know, it's nice and cozy inside. And we're going to make a nice warming cozy drink too. I'm going to make you a Manhattan. Now when I was looking back over the files that I've kept on what I've been making for you, I was pretty surprised that I actually hadn't made you a Manhattan yet, because it's one of my favourite drinks, but turns out I hadn't. So I'm going to do that today. I'll rectify that for you. I'm going to make it with Jim Beam Double Oak. This is a bit contentious. A lot of people will tell me that it must be made with rye whiskey and not bourbon whiskey. Look, originally the recipe was with rye, but I think it's perfectly acceptable these days to make it with bourbon. And frankly, this is a pretty gutsy bourbon that I wanted to show you guys. So we'll have a chat about the bourbon itself first. Jim Beam Double Oak. So this is a fairly new addition to the Jim Beam family. It's got heaps of vanilla, heaps of woody notes, heaps of that, you know, we've been talking about it, those caramel sweetnesses that come through with these heavy bourbons. So, okay, what's special about Jim Beam Double Oak? Basically what's happened is that the Americans have passed laws in the 1960s surrounding what you can and can't do with bourbon, how bourbon can and can't be made. And one of those rules is that bourbon cannot have anything added to it, right? No flavours, no colours, nothing like that. Basically, it comes out, you can add water to it, and then it needs to go into the bottle. So, when we look at all of these Scotch whiskies that are now on the bottle shop shelves, you know, port finish, sherry finish, Pedro Jimenez finish, yada, 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 you can't do any of that with bourbon, because otherwise you can't call it a bourbon. So Fred Noe, who is the current master distiller at Jim Beam, in the Jim Beam family, son of Booker Noe, great-grandson of Jim Beam himself, was wanting to come up with a new bourbon, something that he could leave the world. And he thought, okay, well, what am I going to be able to do? I can't add anything, you know, we've bottled everything at different ABVs, and we've done X, Y, and Z, we've bottled at different years. And he's come up with this really, really cool way of doing it, okay? Bourbon needs to be aged by law in new oak barrels. It doesn't have to be American oak, most of the time they are, but it must be new oak barrels. So what we've done is we've put the Jim Beam recipe into a new oak barrel, and we've left it there for several years, and then we've taken it out and we've put it into another new oak barrel. So we've kind of gotten around that rule that you can't put it in special barrels, etc. They have to be in new charred barrels. And as a result, we've got this really beautiful vanilla-y, sweet, rich bourbon. Yeah, it's gutsy, and it makes a really good classic cocktail like this. So what I'm going to do with it is make you a Manhattan, like I said. Very cool drink, one of my favourites, and very easy to make at home. If you've been watching me for the last, God, it's been a couple of months now, then you'll know that sweet vermouth is a very handy ingredient to have around, as is bitters. So I'm going to use both of these ingredients that, if you've been making cocktails at home, you will already have in your store cupboard. I'm going to put a full shot of sweet vermouth in here. Okay, so I've put 2 shots of bourbon and 1 shot of sweet vermouth. And then I'm just going to put, you know what, I'm going to put 4 dashes of bitters. So I'm using the Australian Bitters Co., which is a local bitters company based just outside of Sydney. It's all handmade, no artificial flavours or ingredients. There we go, 4 dashes of bitters straight in there. What I'm making right now is a sweet Manhattan, okay? You can have a dry Manhattan, or you can have a perfect Manhattan. What makes it a sweet Manhattan is the fact I put sweet vermouth in. If I wanted to make it a dry Manhattan, instead of 1 shot of the sweet vermouth, I'd put 1 shot of dry vermouth, and if I want to make it a perfect Manhattan, I put half a shot of each sort of vermouth. Okay, this is a stirred drink. I'm just going to add my ice here. There we go. Lots and lots of ice. Lovely. Yeah, and while that's sitting there, I probably should have done this first, but we'll just quickly get ourselves, there we go, a little piece of orange zest. Got it. I'm going to use orange zest as my garnish. You can use a maraschino cherry. I quite like orange zest, so that's what I've decided to go with tonight. Again, how long you stir really depends on the ice you're using. You're looking to both dilute and chill. Now the story behind the Manhattan, there's two stories, okay? The most popular story, I'll pour this out first and then I'll tell you. That just looks so pretty. Look at that. My little orange zest, I'm going to give that a nice squeeze, give it a twist, wipe some of those orange oils. Look at that. Look at that. Yum. Yum, yum. You want to taste, babe? I should have said, we are live, so if you have any questions, as always, Mods is acting as my producer / cameraman. Ask any questions you want. I might answer, he might answer, you never know. It depends on whether he knows the answer or not, I suppose. So that's a little Manhattan. Do you like?
Delicious.
There you go, seal of approval. So how did the Manhattan come into being? The folklore way of explaining it is that in the 1860s, thank you, darling, in the 1860s at the Manhattan Club, there was a banquet being given for Churchill's mother, Winston Churchill's mother, and this drink was invented at that occasion, and after that, people just referred to it as that drink from the Manhattan Club that time, the Manhattan. Actually, at this time, then Winston Churchill's mother was not supposed to be in America and was supposedly pregnant with Winston Churchill, so it probably isn't how the drink actually came into being. The other theory is that it was the concoction of a gent just named Black, who worked at Hoffman House in New York around that same time period, the 1860s, 1870s. We've made a sweet Manhattan here. If you make a dry Manhattan and then you change the bitters from aromatic bitters to pecan bitters, then you've actually made a drink called the Brooklyn. So this goes back to my theory about if you know how to make one drink, quite often you know how to make quite a few. Look it up and have a sip, have a play around with it. It's a good fun drink. Any questions there, babe?
No questions at all. Yep.
No questions at all. Okay. Well, I hope everybody's enjoying Semi being back at work and being all productive, getting out of the activewear and actually into the office again. It could be a bit challenging, but yeah, good fun. Hope everybody's staying safe, staying well, and getting over the beginning of winter. Awesome. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I might leave you guys with that. Any requests for next week, just shoot them through and I'll do my best to accommodate. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.